as you know, I started out with pretty thick glaze, but because they were still warm, they did exactly what I wanted them to do. I wanted them to melt enough that it had little drips down the side, but will have a nice little bit of thickness to it. That's yummy. A little bit of thickness to it, to the glaze when you go to eat it. So that's it. This is Noah's special treat for his breakfast this morning. Normally we have donuts, but he's not a big donut guy, but he loves Hardee's cinnamon raisin biscuits. This is a Copycat. I hope you'll make them, and I can quickly repeat the recipe. 3 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons of baking powder, a teaspoon of salt. I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget something. 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and about 2.5 cups of heavy cream or buttermilk, whichever you choose. Soak your 1/2 cup of raisins in a cup of hot water before you do it. Fold them over a couple times so they're laminated or layered, however you want to say that. Make you a glaze with some powdered sugar, some heavy cream, some vanilla, or some vanilla bean paste like I use, and enjoy this so much. Step 1, I've got 1 cup of really hot tap water. I'm going to put about a 1/2 cup of raisins in here to soak for about 15 or 20 minutes. I'm just going to let them sit there, and then we'll drain them and kind of dry them off. I have preheated my oven to 400 degrees, and now I'm going to assemble my dry ingredients. I need 3 cups of flour. I have unbleached all-purpose, and I just filled my canister up, and it's pretty full here. It's okay if we get a little extra. So there's 1. Don't run, baby. Did you hear me? What'd I say? Don't run. 2. Not in the house. I'll end up colliding. 3. Roughly 3 cups of flour. And it's getting on my mat, which is fine because I'm going to roll these out. Next, I'm going to do probably about a teaspoon of salt. I kind of measured in my hand with my heart. Next, I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of baking powder. Not baking soda. You won't get the right result. Has to be baking powder, 2 tablespoons. And then next, I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of sugar, because these are a sweet biscuit. It's the cinnamon raisin. And then we're going to put about 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, when I figure out where I put it, behind the canister. And I'm going to kind of not be exact with this because I've got a tablespoon out. I put just a little under a tablespoon. A tablespoon is 3 teaspoons, so there you go. Close enough. Doesn't have to be perfect. Next, I'm going to drain the water off my raisins that have been plumping up for about 20 minutes. All right, I'm going to stir those dry ingredients together. We don't want all the cinnamon in one biscuit, right? Next, I'm going to add in my raisins, about 1/2 cup, and about 2 cups of heavy cream. You know, this particular recipe doesn't have any butter in it, and you think, what in the world, biscuits without butter? The heavy cream is what gives it the fat that it needs. And so we're just going to give it a quick stir. You don't want to overmix your biscuits. I just want to bring it together, and then I'm going to put it out here on my lightly floured mat, and we're going to mix it together. Here we go. I've got my Tupperware pastry mat out. I love this thing. Put some flour down and put this right out on top. I'm going to bring it together. And this is where your hands get involved. This is the fun part. I just want to bring it together just enough. I'm going to fold it in half. This is what gives your biscuits layers, and kind of push it down. Then I'm going to do that again and bring it together. Pat it, and one more time I'm going to flip it over on top of itself and bring it down. And then I'm going to put it out to about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch thick, however thick you want your biscuits. And remember, they're going to rise because we've got a couple of tablespoons of baking powder in here. I like them pretty thick because you want those layers to be shown. Make it pretty level and even. And because these are for Noah's birthday this morning, I always get the kids something special on their breakfast. He's 24 today, my first baby. After 15 years of infertility, my first little sweetheart was born on February 1st at 1:17 a.m. He weighed 7 pounds, 12 ounces, and he was perfect in every way. I just had heart-shaped cookie cutters out yesterday because I want to do these biscuits in a heart shape. So I'm going to flour it a little bit and then just press it right down. One. Pop that right out. It's a little perfect heart. I'm going to put it in my new pan that I bought at the Aldi yesterday. And some people with biscuits will butter their dish and some don't. I want these to have a crispy bottom. You know how you bite into a biscuit and it's crunchy on the bottom? That's what I want for this. So I am going to butter the bottom of that pan. And I'm going to finish cutting these out and show you what we've got. In case there's a child or two who doesn't like raisins, Nathan and Jazzy, I'm doing the same thing minus the raisins and adding buttermilk instead of heavy cream. All right, my oven's preheated to 400. Here's one. It kind of looks like a broken heart in the center. Heart-shaped buttermilk biscuits and heart-shaped cinnamon raisin biscuits. I'll show you when they're done in about 12 minutes. All right, here are the non-raisin biscuits right out of the oven. I'm gonna brush them with some butter, and I'm gonna grab the cinnamon raisin biscuits out, and I'm going to glaze them. We're gonna make a little glaze out of powdered sugar, a little bourbon vanilla bean paste, some heavy cream. It's gonna be so delicious. Oh, look at that. They didn't retain their heart shape, but it's okay. They were made with a lot of heart. Let's quickly make that glaze while these 8 cinnamon raisin biscuits are cooling. But I don't want them to be totally cool before I put the glaze on. I want them to cool a little bit so the glaze doesn't all just run right off. I've got some powdered sugar. This is totally measuring this with my heart. I'm just putting some powdered sugar, however much is left here. I would say it's a cup and a half. I don't know. It's a guess. To that, he's changing his shirt, baby. He's coming. I'm gonna put a little bit of bourbon vanilla bean paste, just a tiny bit. It doesn't take much at all. Not at all. And then I'm going to add some heavy cream to just make it of a spreading consistency. I opened that once. Just a little bit. You can always add more, but it's hard to take away because then you have to add more of the powdered sugar. And that wasn't enough, I can tell. Let's add a little more. I want to get that vanilla bean paste stirred in there really nicely. A little bit at a time so you get it just how you want it. I don't like mine to be liquid. I want to put it on a little bit thick and it will melt a little. I love that you can see the black vanilla bean specks in this. There's something about that that just looks homemade, looks pretty, looks special. Now then, I'm gonna put this aside and get a spoon. See, it's kind of thick and I'm just gonna spread it on there. And because the biscuits are still warm, it will kind of soften and run off. Yep, they're still pretty warm to touch. They didn't retain their heart shape very well. That's okay. There we go. My boys woke up with their batteries completely recharged this morning. I don't know what else to say. Can you hear him? It's amazing to me, all the little sounds boys make. And I don't know if you have boys and you have girls. They're really different when they're little. You know, we have fostered 19, adopted 8 of those and 1 more. And I can tell you that they are different. and the way that they play and the way that they react. It's really amazing to watch. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna finish these up and show you.